Thanks for being here. My name is Jerry with Sanctified Supply Co., and we're going to be picking up in the book of 1 Samuel. We're in chapter 4, and if you're curious, I am reading out of the TS 2009, aka the Scriptures. My family, this YouTube channel, and Sanctified Supply Co. are 100% funded by viewers like you. I cannot thank you enough for your support. Bless you. Let's jump right in, shall we? Thus the word of Shemuel was to all Israel, and Israel went out to the battle against the Philistines, and encamped beside Eben Hazer, while the Philistines encamped in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in battle array against Israel. And when the battle spread, Israel was stricken by the Philistines, who killed about 4,000 men of the army in the field. And when the people came into the camp, the elders of Israel said, "Why has Yahuwah smitten us today before the Philistines? Let us bring the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah from Shiloh to us, so that he comes into our midst and saves us from the hand of our enemies." And the people sent to Shiloh, and they brought from there the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah of hosts, dwelling between the cherubim of the two sons of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas. And there with the ark of the covenant of Elohim. And when the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah came into the camp, all Israel shouted so loudly that the earth shook. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, What is the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And when they knew that the ark of Yahuwah had come into the camp, the Philistines were afraid, for they said, Elohim has come into the camp. And they said, Woe to us, for it has never been like this before. Woe to us, who shall deliver us from the hand of the mighty Elohim, of these mighty Elohim? These are the Elohim who struck the Mitzrites and all the plagues in the wilderness. Be strong and be men, you Philistines, that you do not become servants of the Hebrews. As they have been to you, be men and fight. And the Philistines fought, and Israel was smitten, and every man fled to his tent. And the slaughter was very great, and there fell of Israel 30,000 foot soldiers. And the ark of Elohim was captured, and the two sons of Eli died, Hophni and Phinehas. And a man of Benjamin ran from the battle line the same day, and came to Shiloh with his garments torn and dirt on his head. And he came and saw Eli sitting on a seat by the wayside watching, for his heart trembled for the ark of Elohim. And the man came into the city and reported it, and all the city cried out. And Eli heard the noise of the outcry and said, What is the noise of this uproar? And the man came hastily and informed Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were so dim that he was unable to see. And the man said to Eli, I am he who came from the battle, and I fled today from the battle line. And he said, What was the matter, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel has fled before the Philistines, and there has been a great slaughter among the people. And your two sons have died, Hophni and Phinehas, and the ark of Elohim has been captured. And it came to be when he made mention of the ark of Elohim, that Eli fell on his seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck was broken, and he died. For the man was old and heavy, and he ruled Israel 40 years. And his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was pregnant about to bear. And when she heard the news that the ark of Elohim was captured, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and gave birth, because her pains came upon her. And about the time of her death, the woman who stood by her said to her, Do not fear, for you have borne a son. But she did not answer, nor did she set her heart to it. And she called the child Ichabod, saying, The esteem has departed from Israel, because the ark of Elohim was taken, and because her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, The esteem has departed from Israel, for the ark of Elohim was taken. And the Philistines, this is chapter 5. And the Philistines took the ark of Elohim and brought it from Eben Hazer to Ashdod. And the Philistines took the ark of Elohim and brought it in the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And the Ashdodites rose early in the morning and saw Dagon fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of Yahuwah. So they took Dagon and put it in his place. And they arose early the next morning and saw Dagon fallen on its face to the ground before the ark of Yahuwah, and the head of Dagon and both his palms of his hands cut off. On the threshold only Dagon itself was left on it. That is why to this day the priests of Dagon and all who come into Dagon's house do not tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod. But the hand of Yahuwah was heavy on the Ashdodites, and he wasted them and struck them with tumors, Ashdod and its borders. And when the men of Ashdod saw it, they said, "Let not the ark of Elohim of Israel remain with us, for his hand has been hard on us and on Dagon, our mighty one." Then they sent and gathered to them all the princes of the Philistines and said, "What do we do with the ark of Elohim of Israel?" And they answered, "Let the ark of the Elohim of Israel be removed to Gath." And they removed the ark of the Elohim of Israel. And it came to be, after they removed it, that the hand of Yahuwah was against the city with a very great destruction. And he struck the men of the city from the least to the greatest, and tumors broke out on them. They then sent the ark of Elohim to Ekron, and it came to be, as the ark of Elohim came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, "They have removed the ark of the Elohim of Israel to us." They have removed the ark of the Elohim of Israel to us, to kill us and our people. And they sent and gathered together all the princes of the Philistines and said, "Send away the ark of the Elohim of Israel, and let it return to its own place, so that it does not kill us and our people." For there had come a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of Elohim was very heavy there. And the men who did not die, and the men who did not die were stricken with tumors. And the cry of the city went up to the heavens. Pow, pow. Chapter 6. And the ark of Yahuwah was in the field of the Philistines for 7 new moons. And the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, "What do we do with the ark of Yahuwah? Let us know with what we should send it to its place." And they said, "If you send away the ark of Elohim to Israel, do not send it empty, but you shall certainly return it to him with a guilt offering. Then you are going to be healed, and it shall be known to you why his hand does not turn aside from you." And they said, "What is the guilt offering which we return to him?" And they answered, "The number of the princes of the Philistines, 5 golden tumors and 5 golden rats. For the same plague was on all of you and on your princes. And you shall make images of your tumors and images of your rats that ruin the land, and you shall give esteem to the Elohim of Israel. It could be that he does lift his hand from you, from your mighty ones, and from your land. And why do you harden your hearts as the Mizrites and Pharaoh hardened their hearts when he had severely dealt with them? Did they not send them away, and they went? And now take and make a new wagon, and 2 milk cows which have never been yoked, and hitch the cows to the wagon, and take their calves home, away from them. And take the ark of Yahuwah, and put it on the wagon, and put the objects of gold which you are returning to him as a guilt offering in a chest by its side, and send it away. And it shall go. And you shall see, if it goes up the way of its own border, up the way to its own border, to Beth Shemesh. And he has done us this great evil. But if not, then we shall know that his hand is not come against us. An accident it was to us. And the men did so, and took 2 milk cows, and hitched them to the wagon, and shut up their calves at home. And they put the ark of Yahuwah on the wagon, and the chest with the gold rats, and the images of the tumors. And the cows went straight for the way of Beth Shemesh, and went along the highway, billowing as they went, and did not turn aside left or right. And the princes of the Philistines went after them to the border of Beth Shemesh. And they of Beth Shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley. And they lifted their eyes and saw the ark, and rejoiced to see it. And the wagon came into the field of Yehoshua of Beth Shemesh, and stood there. And there was a great stone, so they split the wood of the wagon, and offered the cows as an ascending offering to Yahuwah. And the Levites took down the ark of Yahuwah, and the chest that was in it, in which were the objects of gold, and put them on the great stones. And the men of Beth Shemesh offered ascending offerings, and slaughtered slaughterings the same day to Yahuwah. And when the 5 princes of the Philistines saw it, they returned to Ekron the same day. And these are the gold tumors which the Philistines returned as a guilt offering to Yahuwah: 1 for Ashdod, 1 for Azah, 1 for Ashkelon, 1 for Gath, and 1 for Ekron. And the gold rats by the number of all the cities of the Philistines belonging to the 5 princes, both walled cities and country villages, even as far as the great meadow on which they placed the ark of Yahuwah, remain to this day in the field of Yehoshua of Beth Shemesh. And he struck among the men of Beth Shemesh, for they had looked into the ark of Yahuwah. He struck among the people 70 men, and the people mourned because Yahuwah struck among the people a great smiting. And the men of Beth Shemesh said, Who is able to stand before this set apart Yahuwah Elohim? And to whom shall he go? From us? And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath Jearim, saying, The Philistines have brought back the ark of Yahuwah. Come down, take it up to you.